Welcome to Chatsunami. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Chatsunami. My name's Satsunami and joining me for the final episode of 2023 is none other than the one and only Andrew. Andrew, welcome back to the final episode.
We've only gone and done it. We've reached the end of 2023. We've reached 40,000 listeners. We've done it, Chatsu.
This is indeed the very last episode, so pack your bags and get the hip. No, I'm kidding.
You don't have to listen at home, but you can't listen here.
And on that note, how are you doing today, Andrew?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a short year, it feels like. It doesn't seem that long ago that we were recording our first theme month of the year in January, and now we're all the way at the end.
Yeah, it is really shocking, because you and I were talking about this off recording, but it is insane how fast, well, I was going to say a couple of months, it's been 12 months nearly since we started not only season 3, but we honestly started so many new things for the show. We had our theme months, we had very special episodes, we had a lot of experimental episodes. I honestly can't believe, going back to something I said a couple of weeks ago in our 3-year anniversary episode, but I can't believe this podcast has been going on for 3 full years. Can you?
It is pretty amazing. I've not been a co-host for that entire time. I did the occasional appearance during those 3 years. But yeah, 3 years is crazy. It doesn't seem that long ago that you started the project and that I did my very first episode on Star Wars Clone Wars.
Yeah, if you look at the graph between the success in Chatsunami and the time that Andrew came onto the show, it's just like an upward slope.
I mean, we have jumped 20,000 listens in 3 months, but I'm definitely not going to take any credit for that because I think that's been the hard work of Satsunami on the channel.
Yeah, I don't know where you guys are coming from, listeners at home. I mean, we love you all, but good lord, 20,000. Yeah, as you were saying before, we have reached the fabled 40,000 listens. So first of all, lovely listeners at home, thank you so much for your support over 2023. I honestly can't believe we have got to this stage, not because I have any doubts with you, Andrew, or with myself, or Adam, or Craigie C.
That makes one.
I mean, I'll say that as well for legal reasons, not Craigie C, because I know he will beat me up if I say otherwise. I mean, he has the means. But between January of this year to now, we have had so many good episodes, haven't we? And I think probably a good starting point is with our themed months, because we've done 3 very particular ones, haven't we?
We have. We've done 3 on a particular direct topic, and then we've done obviously our Christmas month, which is kind of an annual tradition as well this past month, but 3 months themed on properties that we're particularly interested in, first being Spider-Man month, which we did throughout January. Then we had the Simpsons month in June, where we did 4 fantastic episodes on our love for the Simpsons, where we think it went wrong, the Simpsons movie, and a character profile on Willie, as well as a trivia episode, which we always do at the end of each theme month. Just last month in November, we did our Lord of the Rings month, which was kind of Lord of the Rings in the wider world, because we focused on the original trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy. You and Craigie C covered the Rankin Bass Return of the King movie, and then we did, of course, our trivia month.
I really look forward to these theme months, especially when we started them in, I want to say season 2. Yes, it was. It was episode, do you want to know how far back it was? It was season 2, episode 16, where we started Halo month, and your first episode on a theme month was episode 18 of season 2 with Halo Legends, which I have to admit I am reluctant to go back to older episodes just because of my editing skills back then, but I have to say the Halo Legends episode is one I go back to regularly because it is just so funny listening to your reactions, especially of just such a wonderful anime.
Well, that was a particularly enjoyable episode, and I have re-listened to that one a couple of times because I do enjoy that. And I know just from our own analytics behind the scenes, it is one of our best performing episodes still after all this time. So it's very nice to kind of re-listen to that every so often and hear yourself, Adam, and I talking about, which was just an absolutely ridiculous anthology anime on the Halo series.
Oh, absolutely. But peeking behind the curtain a little bit, and this is like a juicy exclusive to all you listeners out there, something I have noticed going through our analytics is you guys really love our more negative episodes when it comes to themed months. I have noticed this. So for our Spider-Man month, granted this might be the outlier, but our Sam Raimi trilogy episode, that got, as of this episode, that got 276 plays as opposed to the others, which don't get me wrong, they weren't too far behind, but that one definitely is ahead of the other ones. For our Simpsons month, our most popular episode, just by a couple of plays, mind you, is the Downfall of the Simpsons episode, which I have to say that was an excellent episode, mind you. But the other one, which I was really surprised at, was our episode on the Hobbit trilogy, which again is the most popular one so far of Lord of the Rings month. So it is quite fascinating to see that. I'm not saying you guys are like gluttons for punishment or anything, but
maybe we're more entertaining when we're ranting about things than when we're praising them.
well, would you believe that as of this episode, one of our more infamous episodes, I say infamous, but it's more infamous to us because it's not popular enough probably to gain the ire of certain communities, but our critique of Sword Art Online that we did this year has reached 200 plays today.
That was an interesting one because it was one that we actually recorded quite a while ago, so you can actually tell like the difference in my sound quality especially is very different from some of the more recent episodes because it was recorded on an older device that I had at the time, and it's just taken a little while to kind of come through the archives.
Well, I mean that, and I think the fact that I still call you Green Shield in that one.
Yeah, I mean that's a bit of a giveaway as well. I was still living in a very different place than I am now. I didn't have a dedicated space to record, and I didn't have a proper headset. I didn't have a proper microphone, which I now do, which I hope you guys have been enjoying the last month's worth of episodes with me on it, as opposed to all the others, where I've now been using a proper microphone that was gifted to me very nicely by Satsunami for my birthday.
And I do it again, damn it. No, it has indeed been buttery smooth quality, I'm not going to lie.
I hope the listeners at home think so too.
Yes, please let us know. But throughout this year, though, we have had some really good episodes. And I'm not just saying this because obviously you're on and you've been taking a more prominent role as co-host of the show, but I feel as if, at least for now, season 3 and by extension, of course, season 4 has been my favourite season of the show. And I feel as if Chatsunami just gets better and better as time goes on. But for this year in particular, are there any highlights that you have episode-wise beyond the themed months?
Yeah, there has been quite a few that I've really enjoyed. Earlier in the year, we tried to sort of hit up some... Earlier in the year, we did a couple of episodes on the likes of The Sea Beast and on a DreamWorks retrospective. And I found those to be really fun episodes to record, and it was really enjoyable. And it was just interesting kind of watching that movie and kind of getting an idea of this Oscar-nominated animated film that I hadn't yet seen. I made kind of a big attempt at the time to try and watch all that I could of the animated Oscar nominees, being so interested in animation myself. So that was really fun to do. I've also really enjoyed your Chatsu shorts this year. I think that they definitely deserve a big shout out. I'm not part of those in any way, and that's just entirely Satsunami himself. But there's been some really interesting little mini essays that you've essentially done through podcasts. You've just recently put out the ones for the Doctor Who specials, the Call of Duty specials. You've talked about Outlast and loads of different things, which has been so good. Those are just a few of the more recent ones, but that's been super fun. Again, we talked a little bit about Legend of Zelda this year. That's always so fun. I love talking about Legend of Zelda. I know you're humoring me with some of those episodes, given that you don't hold as much interest in the Legend of Zelda, but it's always very fun to do that. The Chatsunamis are always so fun to do, and we've done a couple of tier lists episodes. I think we did, or maybe we only did the Pixar one, but I think we talked about doing one for DreamWorks too. But we did a Pixar tier list, which was so fun. I think that's a really cool idea that we might take forward to other episodes going ahead. But yeah, I mean, I've mentioned quite a lot there. What about yourself? What are some highlights for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for, I was about to say humouring, feeding the ego, as it were, for the Chatsu shorts. Because I have to say, the Chatsu shorts were, I can't even remember if it was a season 1 idea. No, it must have been season 2. My God, all of our good ideas came from season 2. What the hell? In season 2, I had an idea where, and this was me being very ambitious, where I was going to do an episode a week, and then I was going to have like a mini episode where I started talking about my own interests, and then I started trying to get other people involved. But I think before it kind of went away a little bit, the only two other people we got, and this is a big shout out to those particular creators. We had Blowfishman TV, an amazing Twitch streamer. Definitely go check him out. He did an episode talking about his voice acting journey, and then Craigie C did one on how to be a good DM for Dungeons and Dragons. So if there's anybody out there who's listening and you think, oh, I could do like a 5-10 minutes about a topic that I'm really passionate about, seriously, feel free to reach out to us. Again, Andrew, you're not excluded from that offer. You're more than welcome if you want. Yeah, in terms of highlights, there's just so many because we've had a lot of guest co-hosts on. We had the wonderful Wisteria Moth and the What It Means to Be a Sonic Fan. That was really a treat going down memory lane of remembering the cringy and also heartwarming moments of being a Sonic fan. And don't worry, I kept Andrew out of it because I was like, no, this is a battle I have to face myself.
You protected me from that one. The meme of the soldier taking the knives while I sleep in the bed.
You know I'm going to make that a vision now. It's just me, Sonic memes.
Shadow with a gun behind you.
Yeah. Do you know what the sad thing is? I actually know the perfect image for that, but that's another story. So, yeah, we also had Super Shadow 271. He's another fantastic content creator on Twitch. He reviewed Sonic Frontiers with me. We had Jess from Opinionated Lushes talking about the game Firewatch. We had Dan from Casting Views. Again, another fantastic podcaster. We had Robotic Battle Toaster, the amazing variety streamer, talking about 40k reasons, ironically enough, because this is a 40k special, we're talking about reasons not to live in the 40k universe, which I strongly recommend you listen to. We also interviewed Review It Yourself, the podcast. I also interviewed Valentine Spindler, who is a fantastic musician. Yeah, there was actually quite a few podcasters that we interviewed. We interviewed Bring Your Own Popcorn, Myth Monsters, Mama D from Petals of Support. I got Sean from the Review It Yourself podcast back to talk about Star Trek. We talked to Serial Napper. I interviewed Martin McAllister, of course, for his amazing work in wrestling. I interviewed Rena Friedman Watts from the Better Call Daddy podcast. There was a lot of interviews, and damn it, I'm going to get more in, to be honest. But in terms of episodes we've done together, we have done so many crackers this season and this year as a whole.
Appropriate for the time of year.
Exactly. Other than obviously the theme months, as I said, we have done the Let's Talk About Anime Tropes, which turns out that was our most popular episode on Spotify.
Oh, interesting. A lot of weebs on Spotify.
I didn't expect it, but you know what? I'll take it.
And we only got some death threats.
Yeah, that were mysteriously put to Adam, but... For legal reasons, that's a joke. That's a massive joke. Yeah, as you said, we did the Sea Beast one, which was great. The DreamWorks retrospective was a lot of fun. The What It Means to Be a Legends of Zelda fan and the Breath of the Wild review, those were great. The Sword Art Online one, despite it being a while back, that was really good. We also did the Pixar tier list, of course. Yeah, after that, we had the Simpsons month.
Do you have any highlights from the Simpsons month? Like, do you have a favourite episode?
Oh, so many. I actually love doing the rise and fall. Like, I love them all, to be honest, but I thought the Rise of Simpson Mania episode was good, and I thought the downfall of The Simpsons was really good as well. The Simpsons movie one was fun, but I still like those first two episodes.
That's my opinion as well.
I mean, the one I have to say I'm kind of disappointed in the way that it performed was the Groundskeeper Willie one, because I feel as if, us being Scottish ourselves, talking about a Scottish character, I was surprised. Don't get me wrong, it's still got good listens and everything, but I'm just really surprised it wasn't received as, astoundingly in comparison to its contemporaries.
Mm-hmm. See, going into that episode, it was a fan-voted episode as to which character we did a kind of a study on, and Willie was not going to be my preference for that one. I didn't think that I would have enough to say, and it actually surprised me how much we were able to say about him in an episode, but it would not have been my choice of character, in my opinion, but the fans voted. You have to go with a democratic system.
Yeah, I have to say, I would agree with you, because considering we had Homer, Ned Flanders, and Mr. Burns on that list, it is really surprising that a lot of people saw us as being Scottish, and they said, yeah, we want to hear them talk about Groundskeeper Willie, but you're right, we had so much to say, or rather, we had more to say than the both of us probably expected, and that's what I love about these episodes. The fact you go into an episode and you kind of think, think, oh, I don't know if I've got a lot to say, and then all of a sudden it just comes out like a waterfall. But one thing that we did differently for this season, and this is one that absolutely terrified the pants off of me, was the Acme Comic Con episode.
That was such a great experimental episode. I thought you did so well with that, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it was, I was so confident going up to people. If it wasn't for my partner being there on one side and Martin McAllister being on the other side, I probably would have bottled it and just been like, nah, I'm not doing this. Because you always see those infamous podcasters that go up to people and they're just straight up harassing them, be like, oh, what's your cosplay? And I didn't want to be like that, because as surprising as it might sound, I am a very shy person in real life. I mean, I think most of us at Chatsunami are, with some exceptions, but the fact that, I got to go out there and actually do it was a fantastic experience, and I would love to do a lot of travel episodes. Like, if the day comes where I finally get over to Canada to visit you, we should definitely do an episode.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be very keen to do that.
Chatsunami in Canada. Actually, speaking of travel, one of the other episodes that, again, it'd be interesting to revisit this topic with you, because I know you've got different experiences with travel as well, but I did an episode with Craigie C on talking about like our travel experiences, and I feel as if that would be a really interesting episode to get back into.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun. I'm very passionate about travel. I've had lots of fun experiences through traveling through my holidays. Yeah, I'd be very keen to return to that topic with you.
And of course, we had our 20k Q&A special, which was absolutely fantastic. I know I've just practically listed through all of them. It's genuinely, it gets harder and harder. I think I said this to you before, but it gets harder and harder every year to choose a best of. Because in season 1, the whole best of previous season wasn't really a thing. And maybe I should go back to that. I'm not 100%.
Here's a question for you then. If you have someone who this is their first episode they're listening to, and you now have to recommend one episode from the last year for them to start off with, to get the best idea of who we are as a podcast and to try and get them keen to listen to more, what would be that one episode?
See, the thing is, it depends what they're into, because if they're more on the geeky side for like Spider-Man, then I would 100% recommend our Sam Raimi trilogy episode. I think that's absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favourite episodes personally. If I'm thinking of, just general ones, the 3-year anniversary one was good, but that is a tough one. Why are you giving me such tough questions today? Because I'm going to disclude, because this is probably cheating, but I am discluding the best of season 3 episodes.
That's fair. I was also kind of thinking that wouldn't be fair, because if we did include those, then probably Terminator 3 would be a good one to start off with.
If I was choosing overall, then for you and I, one of the best episodes, and again, there's just so many to choose from, but one of the best episodes you and I have done is the Perfect Blue episode, which I wholeheartedly recommend. If anybody's into anime and they want to hear our thoughts on that film, honestly, that is the one I'd say definitely go and listen to. If they want just a kind of general feel, then I would recommend like the season 3 finale, where we do like a Q&A, because it's more general. But again, there's just so many episodes. If I was recommending an episode between Adam and I would do the Living in the Pokemon World. Between that and the Perfect Blue one, those are like two completely different episodes. Two of my favourites. Honestly, there's just so many. Not to copy your question, but I'm copying your question. What would you go for if you had to choose?
I think I would probably suggest the Rise of the Simpsons episode for 2023. But then I was kind of thinking as well, like, why are we just limiting it to 2023? What would be a good starting point just in general from the channel? And I think you brought up the Perfect Blue episode, which I think is arguably one of our best episodes. However, tonally, it's not really what we generally sound like. And so I would say Halo Legends or the Beyblade episode as being very good starting points in terms of content. In terms of like the audio, it's not nearly as good as the most recent episode. So like it sound a little bit dated in that way. But the conversation between yourself, Adam, and I, some of my favorite that we've done. I do think that a lot of the stuff between just you and I has also been absolutely brilliant, and I would highly recommend a lot of that. But if you're looking for a good laugh, the Halo Legends episodes, I think, is one of the best ones to start with.
Yeah, because something that surprised me when I was doing the Spotify Unwrapped for 2023, and it was really interesting to see that one of the episodes that people seem to gravitate towards is the Skyrim retrospective that Adam and I did all the way in season 2. That seems to be like a really popular starting point, but then it was kind of contradicted when it also said that one of our most popular episodes was when we talked about anime tropes, which, yeah, that was just really weird. And again, it's a fantastic episode. I am super proud of that, but you're right though, because the fact is, Chatsunami is a variety podcast through and through, but beyond it being a variety podcast, it is also mainly a chat with friends. I wouldn't be doing this with yourself, with Adam, with Craigie C, and all of the other amazing co-hosts that we've had on if I wasn't friendly with them. And obviously we are very good friends. I'm saying that for legal reasons. But the tone of a lot of the episodes do shift. You're completely right. Because, for instance, season 2, we had an episode on Pierce Brosnan's run as James Bond with Adam and I. And, you know, that is a very goofy and light-hearted episode. But then immediately we go on to Papers, Please and The Return of the Obra Dinn, reviewing those games that have very heavy themes. And then further on we go to Finding Paradise, which is even more intense in a way.
Similar with your What Remains of Edith Finch episode. Like, that was a very kind of serious episode from what I remember as well.
Funny enough, What Remains of Edith Finch, you're going to hear this quite a lot in this episode, saying, oh, this is my favourite episode or one of my favourite episodes, but I'm really proud of the What Remains of Edith Finch episode. It goes up there with the Perfect Blue episode, our Anime Tropes one, ones like that, the Pokemon one, absolutely love that one as well, but that actually came after the Sonic month, which was completely goofy, over the top, just such a riot. But you know, we go from that to talking about video game characters and mortality and things like that. And then, of course, a couple of episodes later, we've also got Kind Words, which delved into mental health and things like that. What are your thoughts on that, to be honest? Because I don't think this is something I've ever asked you. The fact that Chatsunami can go from very serious and very thought-provoking topics, but then the next week it can be something quite light-hearted and goofy.
I like that about the channel because it's a reflection on ourselves that we love having a laugh. We love talking about silly things. We love doing an episode on the worst Christmas movies, but also doing a much more highbrow kind of discussion on Tokyo Godfathers or Perfect Blue, or doing one on one of the games you discussed, such as What Remains of Edith Finch or Papers, Please. I'm hesitant to say sort of serious topics. I'm still talking about video games and animation, but within that, there's still a maturity to those, as opposed to why Sonic 06 is smelly and like our Sonic original character contest episode.
Even with our interview episodes, I do think those are some of my favourites, purely because it allows us to get a different point of view from creators that, you know, we have talked to, we've listened to their content, we really enjoy them and everything, but we get to see their medium through their eyes. We got to learn about podcasting through the amazing Rena Friedman Watts, and we got Dan from Casting Views back again to talk about his opinions on both podcasting and Mass Effect, mainly Mass Effect. But then we also got to talk about the ethics of the true crime community with Serial Napper. We also got to talk about the role of people who might be parents and how they run the podcast with Mama D of Petals of Support. I mean, we even talked about Shrek in London with Myth Monsters. Why, I don't know, but that was hilarious. That was a fantastic episode. That is the thing though, you get to learn all of these different points of view. You get to laugh with people, you get to delve into serious topics, but we don't really cross the threshold of being too serious. Even in our Perfect Blue review, we still give it some levity, but we never go as far as to disrespect the source material, you know, to say, oh, we think about this particular topic and then become overly controversial over it, or, you know, with other topics and things, like especially going back to our critique of Sword Art Online, our anime retrospective. On the one hand, you know, you can have a lot of fun with those kind of episodes, but on the other hand, you have to address the elephant in the room, and obviously without going into depth about that, but the fact is, I feel as if that we have gotten really good now at striking that perfect balance of being informative, but also being entertaining.
We don't want to be vulgar in our description of certain topics. We don't want to belittle certain topics. There's a lot of mention of mental health in some of these kind of episodes, as well as other very serious topics, as well as other very serious elements that we're discussing. But yeah, we do like to try and allow for some levity. It's not the Marvel, like not letting something sit and immediately making a joke afterwards. We hope that things do kind of sit and that they are considered, but we don't want to bum people out at the same time with certain things we're discussing. So we want to make sure that we are constantly moving with it. We are constantly thinking about how we can best represent that topic in a way that's not going to upset people, but is still going to raise awareness of certain issues. We are patting ourselves on the back a little bit here, but I think we have done a very good job of balancing that.
Damn it, it's my podcast. I'll do what I want.
Do you have 40,000 listens? I didn't think so.
Do you know who I am?
Tilt sunglasses down.
Honestly, this is an open invitation. If I ever get to that stage where Chatsunami has like 100 million listens or something ridiculous, and I go into a restaurant or something and I go, do you know who I am?
Sir, this is a chippy.
Sir, this is a McDonald's. I don't care. I want your chicken royale and I want it now. Even though that's probably Burger King. I don't know. We don't pull in the lessons for like big brand sponsors yet. I'll probably bleep them out. So it rhymes with Shawarma Queen. I don't know.
Shawarma Queen?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm not paid the big bucks yet.
Steamed ham prince.
I would eat there, to be fair.
We would like to know, though, what people's thoughts are on those episodes. That whether do you have a preference for our more serious episodes or for our sillier episodes? What is your favorite? If you can let us know on our comment section, on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that would really help us to make more informed decisions as well about what listeners are enjoying, and maybe hopefully do more of those episodes if that is something that is of interest.
Yeah, because speaking about the future of the channel, and you know, that is a seamless segue if I've ever heard it, patting myself on the back again.
Very nice.
We actually had our first fan requested episode, and that of course was from the amazing Pandalonian patron Sonia, who had recommended that we do an episode on Mortal Kombat. So Craigie C and I did an episode on the 1995 Mortal Kombat film, which was a lot of fun, but it made me want to try and include the audience and the listeners at home a lot more, because obviously we have semi-interactive episodes like with the trivia episode, which, you know, they always seem to do quite well. But of course this month as well we reviewed the Santa Claus, which, you know, that was another fan suggested one thanks to the power of democracy in polls. Yeah, that is something that genuinely, like, I would love to see a lot more of. And again, you know, obviously it is up to the listeners to reach out, and you are more than welcome to reach out and let us know if there's any particular topic you would like us to talk about. But on that note, talking about the future, is there anything in particular that you want to see more of?
We have discussed this in the past about theme months and what we want to do, and we would like to try and make a more consistent kind of schedule of themed months. So we're going to be looking at doing several theme months each year, or at least a few each year. And so we're going to be looking to a variety of topics that we could be doing for that. Satsunami and I have already discussed some options for that. I don't know if you want to kind of reveal any things that we've discussed, or if you'd like to kind of leave it a bit vague.
No, go for it.
We have looked at doing some topics, maybe like a Star Wars month, and there's been a couple others that we've floated around, so you can kind of look out for those in the next year. We're also going to be looking at doing some more anime episodes. We'd set up a kind of sub-series called Chatsunami, specifically for our anime episodes, and so we'll be looking at doing some more in line with that. I had set up something called First and Last within Chatsunami, that was watching the very first episode of an anime and then watching the very last episode of an anime, so you have very little context as to what's happened from one section to another. And that was really fun doing that on the Beyblade topic with Adam and with Satsunami. So hopefully we can do some more of those. And then, yeah, we've got some other very exciting things in the pipeline. We're actually going to be starting a new channel specifically dedicated to Dungeons and Dragons, where a group of us are going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons, and we've recorded it for for your listening pleasure. And we're hoping to release that at some point in 2024. It's just taking a little bit of time to sort of get the episodes edited together, but we're looking forward to that. And hopefully attached to this episode will be a trailer for that.
Well, we have a listen to the trailer just now.
Let's let the listeners at home hear what they can look forward to.
Hi there, and welcome to Stop, Drop, and Roll Initiative, a Dungeons & Dragons podcast with me, Martin McAllister, as the Dungeon Master. I'm going to be joined by some of my good friends. You know him, he's a podcaster and streamer. He is Satsunami, robotic battle toaster, a Twitch streamer, and ordinary human and Canadian. Andrew, let's see what our party have in store for us today.
Can I roll to wave harder?
Roll. Can you roll what would you rather do, strength or dexterity?
Strength.
Okay, roll strength check, please. This is when you get your natural 20.
I actually did!
It's the hardest damn wave you've ever seen. You make a perception check, please.
9.
You are unable to tell.
I'm rolling like garbage.
So this is where all of Andrew's rolls have gone, is you've not split them up.
Every time I've patted you on the back to give your blessing, I've been taking some of your roll.
Pat has concealed a dagger.
I have a feeling this is going to be a fun adventure.
Well, I don't know about you, Andrew, but that makes me want to play a lot of D&D. Which we already have. In all seriousness, those D&D episodes have been such a lot of fun to do. It is kind of ironic that we are starting the D&D podcast, because the fact is the topic that kicked Chatsunami off was Dungeons & Dragons, which is absolutely crazy to think of. And I'm not saying that like without Dungeons & Dragons that Chatsunami wouldn't have existed, but I feel as if it plays a very significant role, if that makes sense, in the channel.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't actually mention it, but you can look out for Stop, Drop, and Roll Initiative very soon. And so we're very excited for this. It's been a bit of a labor of love, and hopefully you enjoy it.
I think 2024 is going to be our busiest year yet for the podcast, to be quite honest. Because as you said, we've got the D&D podcast that we've got coming out. As you said, we're going to plan a lot more theme months. I'm personally going to try and push the boat out from this end with more, I don't want to say experimental episodes, but more episodes to push myself out my comfort zone, as it were. And if you want to pin the blame on anyone, blame Martin McAllister, that amazing wrestler who definitely can beat me up. I really want to get back into the anime episodes. I feel as if we have been really neglecting the anime episodes, because I keep saying that whenever I talk about Chatsunami, I say, welcome to Chatsunami, a variety podcast that discusses topics like gaming and films, which we do. That seems to be a large chunk of it. And then anime and general interest. General interest usually refers to things that obviously don't either fit within anime, gaming, or films, but the anime side has been really neglected, and that is partly my fault. So yeah, it'll be exciting as well to get into that, because our most listened to episode is an anime episode. That, of course, is the Chinibio episode that I did with a friend of the channel, Wonko. Yeah, it'll be good to get back into it. The other things that will be happening for the channel, which I'm really excited for, is the potential, and I'm not going to give away too much in this episode, because in a couple of days' time you will be hearing the very first teaser for what we have planned. But all I'll say is it's a particular group project that will be involving a lot of indie podcasters coming together as one particular group. So that's all I'm going to say for that.
Ooh.
Thank you. Really excited for that though, because the podcasters that you're going to see, they are such gems of the indie podcasting community. Those who are listening to this, you know who you are. I'm on a group chat with you, And also the other one, which my partner and I were actually thinking of potentially doing, and this is very much in the early stages, but we are potentially pushing the boat out to maybe do some food-related reviews under the sub-series called Chatsunami. It's kind of in its early stages of deciding what we're going to do, but I mean, see, to be honest, if it does take off in that regard, then you and I, of course, Andrew, can talk about it.
If you'd like to have me on some Chatsunami episodes, I'd be more than happy to jump on.
Honestly, the podcast is just growing arms, legs, tentacles, everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very versatile podcast.
Honestly, I love the fact it's versatile. Again, I've said this a million times, but when I was doing streaming and a lot of people were saying, oh, variety podcasting is very difficult because, you're not really streamlining what you're about, if that makes sense. People go to Call of Duty streamers for Call of Duty. They go to, for example, Fall Guys streamers for Fall Guys. But, with Chatsunami, we always keep it very, I don't want to say vague, but very general in what we tackle. Honestly, I feel as if that is probably the best way to do it, because at the end of the day, as I said, it is a chat with friends. Chatsunami has evolved into being something that I have to admit I struggled with the identity of, and then it's just evolved into like this great thing that has, personally, I mean, I don't know how you feel, and apologies if this is getting too sentimental, but the fact that it has not kept us together as friends, but it's strengthened our friendship during the lockdown, both with you and I, with us and Craigie C, Adam, and just so many other creators.
Yeah, I think so. I think just also in general, as many listeners know, I live in Canada and Satsunami lives back in the UK. So we don't see each other very often. We message very frequently, but we don't really hear each other's voice too often. So having kind of a regular kind of catch up just before we start an episode is so nice to have. It gives a much more personal kind of feel than just sort of messaging back and forward, and then just getting to kind of discuss topics together. It's almost like people who sort of join book clubs for the same reason, that we are motivated to be like, all right, let's watch this, then we'll talk about it. And we hope that our kind of discussions are entertaining enough that other people are enjoying what we have to say about that particular property. One thing I've kind of noticed as well this year for the episodes, as opposed to sort of previous years, is the kind of brevity of a lot of the episodes. We are keeping them a lot more brief, and hopefully that is enjoyed by the listeners, that we aren't rambling quite as much as we once did, that we kind of are keeping it to 45 minutes to maybe an hour 20 tops. There aren't very many episodes from this year that are over an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 20 minutes. Most of them are under an hour.
I mean, to be fair, that is partly due to my ruthless editing these days. I feel as if in season 1 especially, I was a bit more conscious that I didn't want to cut off people, whereas in this season I'm like, chop, chop, chop.
I did wonder why most of the things I said were being cut out.
Yeah, literally, there's just a 2-second episode of Andrew just saying, Satsunami is amazing. I had to cut that through 20 different episodes, but I feel as if I got it just right. They're available on Patreon. I definitely agree with you there. I do feel as if we have, I don't know, have we come full circle with the fact that we went to university together, obviously, and they do teach you how to talk with brevity, to talk about your points, but get to the point, as it were.
Yes.
And then when we're talking about something that we enjoy, on the one hand, us talking as friends, we do ramble a lot, and that's perfectly fine for off recording. But when it comes to other people listening to it back, and, they don't want to hear the long gaps of silence in between when I forget what I was going to say, or, when they're fact checking with one another. Even with that, though, I think, and again, this is me patting myself on the back, sue me for legal reasons, don't sue me, but I do feel as if with the way we've been going with the podcast, we have been doing a pretty good job, and I feel as if 2024 is only going to be better. I don't know what 2024 is going to bring for Chatsunami, but see, in all honesty, I think that it's going to be a fantastic year. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, I'm very excited for a lot of the different topics we have to cover in 2024, and I think the listeners at home should be enjoying it as well.
And for the final time of this year, on that note, Andrew, thank you so much for an amazing year of Chatsunami.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the listeners at home for listening. Please do let us know what you thought about this past year of content, the channel in general, this episode.
In all seriousness, we would love to hear what you have to say about the channel. And honestly, we don't mind criticism as much, as long as it's constructive. If you want to say, oh, we prefer shorter episodes, we prefer longer episodes, we want more Chatsu shorts, we want less Chatsu shorts.
Less of that Andrew guy.
I must go. My planet needs me. But honestly, feel free to reach out to us, because we love hearing back from you guys, and honestly, it makes my day. And I'll let you into a little secret here, because whenever I get a good feedback message or a good review, just any positive reinforcement with this podcast, first of all, you're enabling me to do this podcast, so thank you. But second of all, I genuinely, this is not a joke, I immediately take a screenshot of said comment, and I end up rushing and sharing it with either Andrew, Craigie C, Adam. I share it with everyone, to be honest.
They actually like us.
They love us. They really love us. Honestly, it's the best feeling in the world to be able to make, even in our small corner of the internet, it is amazing to see that we are making people's days a little bit brighter, even if it is a silly podcast about gaming, films, anime, general interest, whatever episode you drop into, you are all more than welcome to listen, and we will always be there for your listening needs, because as of this episode, don't get me wrong, there are more than 150 episodes in total, but as of this episode, we'll be at episode 163 officially, which again is absolutely crazy to think of.
Does that include the shorts?
No. That's just the official episodes, like the first 50 episodes. But I mean, that doesn't even include like the shorts, doesn't include the best of, doesn't include the special episodes before the season starts, like the Minion Memes episode that Craig and I did.
How dare you not count that? That's important canon in the Chatsu universe.
Do you know why I didn't include it?
Because you'd burn in hell.
Well, because it burned in hell, but because I wanted to start season 3 strong, and Adam and I were doing Terminator month, but we were still kind of in between, and I was like, where the hell do I put this episode? Well, I can't put it in season 2 because season 2 is over, but I can't put it in season 3 because that would throw Terminator month out of whack. So I was like, where did I put this? Yeah, that's why it kind of outlies. The same with the Acme Comic Con episode, that's out of the cycle. The best of commentary tracks, I would wholeheartedly recommend those. And that is something we'll need to try and work out from our end as well, to try and get commentary tracks done between us.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. I've not been a part of that before, so it'd be cool to do that.
Yeah, I think I might have an idea of how to do it, but you know what? That is indeed a story for another day. But as always, thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for really brightening our 2023. It is a pleasure to do these episodes. We have a lot of fun, but you know, it wouldn't be anything without, well, first of all, it wouldn't be anything without my amazing friends who do this with me. You know, of course, yourself, Andrew, Craigie C, Adam, everybody who's been on the show. You're absolutely fantastic. Second of all, it would not be where it is today without the support from the amazing Pandalorian listeners at home. So yeah, thank you all so much for listening, and if you want to catch more of our episodes, you can catch us on our website, chatsunami.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Chatsunami Pod. You can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Chatsunami, where you can become a Pandalorian patron, such as Robotic Battle Toaster and Sonia. And you can also just follow our channels wherever you listen to your podcast, and it helps us out. Every listen helps us. So please do check us out, share the podcast, and comment and let us know how we're doing.
As always, for the final time of the year, stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly,
Stay hydrated.